ZineMonth 2024 is here, so let's go ahead and check out one of the options that you might want to support this year. Hello and thank you all for joining us again here today on Hessens County for another TTRPG Talk Short. This video series takes a look at tabletop role-playing games and related materials in short form. Today we're going to be checking out one of the examples on Kickstarter of a great zine to potentially back, and that is Hic Tapestry. This is a TRPG, which some of you may know is the more common term instead of TTRPG in lots of other parts of the world. However, here, this is a toilet roll paper game. The basics of this game, this is being released by Tanuki Games. For those of you who might not be familiar with them, they are a group from Fukuoka in Japan. This one is a storytelling type game that is inspired very heavily by the Bayeux Tapestries. To be specific, this game basically has you using a roll of toilet or kitchen paper to essentially create a tapestry, talking about the various different events. And then, of course, also there are certain times and situations where, as you can see here, it is under attack by a cat. Where, you know, your tapestry, your roll of paper could potentially be damaged or altered or cut or, you know, amended in some way, just like a real tapestry would, of course, potentially be. So, as you'll know here, our setup, all we really need is a deck of playing cards, obviously some pens, and a roll of a good quality. They recommend a good quality toilet or kitchen paper because, of course, it's cheap. Obviously, if you don't have those to resort to, there are, of course, plenty of rolls of like craft paper and things like that. Or I guess one thing you could do is take sheets of paper and just kind of tape them together. That might be another way to do it and basically create your own scroll. Essentially, what you're doing is you're using the cards to determine the characteristics of the epic that's being told, and then setting this and then using that to help inspire and create the events and the various stages to follow on and further into the game. You can actually utilize it to sort of help create an artifact for a different role-playing game, create history for your role-playing game and an artifact at the same time. Or you could even potentially utilize this basic roleplay setup to a game setup to basically kind of tell a story that is ongoing inside of a role-playing game, potentially utilizing the basic sort of tapestry mechanics that they include in this game. In some ways, it reminds me a lot of an indie RPG that came out a number of years ago called Banner, one of those artifact games where you are the artifact, and basically people are making making changes to you over the course of history, partly influenced by the individuals and also the history of your people. This is somewhat different, but many of the mechanics are similar in that, of course, as I mentioned, things can be erased, changed, altered, in order to create a narrative that might not necessarily be perfectly remembered, either because of modifications to the artifact or just because people wanted to tell the story differently than it actually happened. So this is, again, on Kickstarter. A link will be found in the description down below. Again, this was Hic Tapestry from Tanuki Games. And as you can see here, it says that this campaign will be going on until February 28th in about 10 p.m. That's Eastern Standard Time. So you got a couple of weeks still to back this one. So thank you all for joining us again here today at that look at a game that is currently up for ZineQuest or ZineMonth of 2024. Remember, support any way you can. Don't feel like that you have to potentially purchase the game. Just sharing on social media or talking about it with your friends or other various things, that all of those can really help, especially with the smaller the smaller zines that are being put out by indie publishers or self-published. Thank you all for joining us today and for supporting Heston's County, and don't forget to support these great creators.